Hey everybody, welcome back to Film Addiction, the best addiction there is to have. So we're back and we're going to do the top 10
worst or most disappointing of 2024.
More like most disappointing, because this was the year for me for most disappointing, because there were so many movies I was actually looking forward to this year that I thought was going to be in there in my favorites of all time, and they were kind of a letdown. So
yeah, and as I said in the other video, or I don't know if you watched that first, but I only saw 26 2024 releases. So if one of these is on your best list or you liked this movie, don't be offended because, like I said, there's only so many movies to pick from in the year of 2024. These are just the 10 that we enjoyed the least.
yeah, and I will say that since we didn't watch as many movies as we usually do, we'll definitely be catching up this year. But half of those end up being pretty bad, or at least disappointing, to where the hopes and dreams were not quite there. But anyways, this is our top 10. I will throw one extra out there real quick, and it's not necessarily that it's a bad movie, because it is a good movie, but I didn't put it on the list because, like I said, it's still good, but it's still fresh in my mind, but it was a little disappointing, was Nosferatu. I liked the movie, but it didn't quite meet my expectations. It's not a bad movie necessarily. I would not say that, but it did not live up to the hype that I thought it was going to be. But still a good movie. I would still suggest watching it. Maybe not. Just don't rush out and watch it. But I love all his other stuff. I love The Witch, The Lighthouse is one of my all-time favorites. The Northman, all that good stuff. Like I said, it's still a good movie. I'll still buy it, but slight disappointment. Anyways, moving on. On to number 10 of most disappointing movies of 2024.
This is 10 is, disappointing. Number 1 is the most disappointing.
The worst movie of the year. Number 10 was Drive Away Dolls. We watched this kind of just on a what's the word?
On a whim,
Yeah,
just like, look, that's on streaming. Let's watch that.
But I did think it was gonna be more like Thelma and Louise type of movie, and it wasn't that at all. It was kind of supposed to be like a dark comedy, but the jokes weren't really landing with me, and I was just like, what the hell did I just watch? So for me, that was number 10, because there was a lot of movies I wanted to put in number 10 spot, but I just went with this one. So that was number 10.
That might make an appearance on my list, but not number 10.
Spoilers.
Number 10 for me was Trap.
See, I almost did that.
I didn't hate this movie.
No.
I actually kind of enjoyed it at certain points, especially the beginning 30 to 45 minutes. Because you're kind of like, all right, what's going on? They're at a concert. This is interesting. What's this leading to? And then you realize what it's leading to. And apparently the trailer gave it away.
The trailer gave it away.
I didn't see the trailer, so hey, that helped a little bit. But I will say that Josh Hartnett, is that his name?
Yeah, he did a great job.
He did do a good job with the role.
What he was given.
What he was given. But just the whole second half of the movie, the way they did the plot and the writing, it was awful. I just was ready for it.
It would have been a better movie if they would have stayed in the
concert
arena, the entire movie,
mm-hmm.
and trying to find ways to secretly get out, or to keep it suspenseful whether or not he was or wasn't the killer. There was a lot of different ways they could have went with it, and there was supposed to be, the twist ending at the end, and it wasn't all that shocking. It wasn't M. Night Shyamalan's best.
No.
It was good to see him back. Good to see him making another movie. Josh Hartnett, I thought, did a fantastic job, but it was just a little too unrealistic.
Yeah, it was unrealistic, and once they revealed it was him, there was nothing beyond that point.
So, yeah, number 10. I agree with that. That was one of the ones I was going to put at number 10, and I was like, I'll just put that.
I know, I was like, should I? I'm like, it wasn't awful, but...
Alright, so coming in at number 9, it's actually right there. I bought this movie. I actually liked this movie. But it was a disappointment because they could have done so much more with it. But that would be Borderlands. Love the video games. The movie just I don't know what the hell they were doing. It's kind of everybody. The acting was pretty bad. Let me pull that right here.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the main actress, whatever her name is, which she's like my girlfriend besides Emily, Kate Blanchett. Is that how you say it? Kate Blanchett?
I think so.
I absolutely love her. Thought she did a great job. Kevin Hart he had a couple of jokes that were funny, but don't know why he was in the movie. The other characters didn't really do much. The one girl in the movie, I thought she did a pretty good job. But there's a lot of, I don't know, it wasn't bad. There's worse movies, obviously, but it was a slight disappointment. But I liked enough to go and buy it, and I will watch this again.
He enjoyed it more
much.
than a lot of people, I think.
Yeah, I did enjoy it, but it was
it.
still a disappointment, so it's on the list. But never mind. Just wanted to shout that out, that I did enjoy the movie.
You did enjoy it. Number 9 for me was, and a lot of people might be upset about this, but Fall Guy.
Okay.
Like I said, I didn't have a huge pool of 2024 movies to choose from, but I was impressed with this movie. I love Ryan Gosling, but I just felt like the movie was kind of lacking, like a lot of plot, and like, yeah, he's the fall guy, and you know, he's
That's based off a TV show, right?
I do know it's based off a TV show, so that might have been the problem. No, I'm just kidding. Maybe that was the issue. They were trying too hard to.
I liked that
like
movie.
that.
I thought some of the action was good, but it definitely, I thought the trailer made it look better than what it was going to be, and then when you watched it, it was a little bit of a disappointment. Still some good comedy parts, some good action scenes, some good throwback or throwouts to, or shout outs to other movies. I thought that was kind of cool. But I thought there was going to be more of that, and it wasn't. So that was a letdown.
It was disappointing. I mean, that's literally the word I want to highlight here. It was disappointing because I was excited to watch it.
Yeah.
And I thought it was kind of boring.
I agree with that. All right, so number 8. Right?
Yep, number 8.
Number 8 was Roadhouse. What the fuck was that? Jake Gyllenhaal, I thought he did great. It was the best part of the movie. The fighter that's in this movie, I get that that's how he is, and that's the persona he puts out, and he got on my fucking nerves. Which maybe that was the point. I don't know.
That's how he is in real life.
But every time he was on the screen, I was just like, get this dude away from the screen. He had a couple of moments where I laughed, you know, whatever, I don't know, but just why?
It felt so out of place having him in that movie.
And some of the CGI that they used in this movie with the car crashing into the wall and he jumped out of the way, it looked like it's made 10 years ago.
Train wreck.
I didn't like this movie. Once again, not necessarily a bad, terrible movie. It was watchable, but it was just kind of like, why? Why did y'all make this? I didn't get it. And it's supposed to be a sequel, possibly.
Oh my goodness.
Just go watch the original. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, watch the original.
Patrick Swayze.
That one might be on my list. We'll see.
Spoilers.
My number 8 is Challengers, which I will say I was looking tonight. The Golden Globes are coming on tonight. This movie is nominated quite a bit, and I feel like maybe I am stepping on some toes with this one. But I did not enjoy this movie. Like,
I thought you did.
no.
I'm really confused.
No.
Okay.
It was really long, and I just felt like I didn't like any of the characters. None of them were likable. Couldn't root for anybody.
I agree with that.
And I kind of had a lot of high expectations going into it again because I really like Zendaya.
Doing part 2.
And the trailer was really good, so I was excited to see it, but in the end, I just felt like her character was just so awful, and the way she treated her husband, and then just the whole dynamic, it was really hard to watch.
I agree it wasn't a great movie, but I kind of dug it. Dug it enough for it not to be on my top. It's not on my list, I'll say that. I kind of dug it, but I agree it's not great, and there's no really likable character in this movie. I agree with that.
Yeah,
There were some cool scenes, especially when they were doing the tennis and the camera was going back and forth. I thought that was cool as hell.
Yeah, and I love tennis, so that's why I was excited to see this.
Oh, I liked it. Whatever.
But no, it was disappointing for me.
Your list sucks.
No, it doesn't. So we'll see if it wins Golden Globes tonight.
Number 7 is a movie that I actually like, once again. But it's one of those that is so bad that it's good. I think this is going to end up being a cult classic later down the road. I really do. And I'm already jumping on that hype train. And that is Madam Web. It's bad. It's really bad. But our cat's freaking out.
Sorry.
But it's really bad. But it's also enjoyable. And it's actually funny. And I laughed a few times. And they could have done so much more with this movie. Like, the last, 10 minutes of the movie is really what gets it going. And you're like, oh, this could be really cool. But it sucks so bad that there'll never be a sequel, which really sucks. Sony doing their thing, So, yeah. But I enjoyed it. I probably will end up buying this movie later on down the road. Or I did buy it. I don't even remember if I bought it or not. Either way, liked it, but it's terrible. Don't watch it. But I enjoyed it. Did I say that?
You did, and it's on your list. And you're like, I liked it.
But it is terrible.
Number 7 for me was Red One, which we just watched a few weeks back. Which is kind of sad because I love Christmas movies. And I thought, okay, you know what? I'm going to enjoy this. It doesn't matter if it's subpar. I'll probably think it's good. And I know we were about 30 to 45 minutes into the movie, and I was like, okay, this isn't too bad. And then it just nosedived from there. Like, the plot was just all over the place. It was a long movie, and it didn't matter that it was about Santa Claus for me at that point. I was just like, is it almost over?
Yeah.
I love Dwayne The Rock Johnson too, so...
Yeah, but he didn't even seem like he was having fun in this movie.
No, I think he was just like...
He seemed miserable, which is funny because he promoted the hell out of this movie. And he looked miserable the entire time he was in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not on my list, I'll say that, just because it's a throwaway movie. It's one of those that I could watch it in the background, but not pay attention. It's one of those. Like, just throw it on. Like, if it's on Netflix or something, you just click it, background. Don't give a shit what's going on. It's one of those.
Again, I don't have a huge pool of movies to pick from.
Yeah, but it's not good. I didn't enjoy it.
It's not.
Coming in at number 6 is In a Violent Nature, which is a hit or a miss for some people. Some people absolutely love this movie, and there is one particular scene in this movie, a killing scene, that I thought was fucking awesome, to be honest with you. It's really cool. Messed up, but it was cool. But the rest of the kills were stupid. I thought it was extremely boring, especially like the last 20 minutes of the movie. I went in a whole different path, and it was just like, I wanted it to end.
Did you see this in theater?
No, me and John, he hated it too. We were laughing the entire time because it was so bad. There was just a lot of stuff that happened in the movie that didn't make any sense, and there was times where the killings didn't make any sense, and I hated this movie. I thought it was terrible. But there was that one scene that was really cool.
It made it a little better.
But it was a bore fest, and I about fell asleep.
All right, we're at number 7? 6. This one's tough for me because I actually did kind of enjoy it in a certain way. But Terrifier 3, don't get me wrong, I understand the appeal of the Terrifier movies. My daughter kind of has this weird obsession about it, even though she's only 12.
I don't tell people that.
I mean, her friends do too. I think it's just the idea of like, ooh, this is scary, and like,
I watched Terrifier. Did you watch it?
So I understand the appeal of it. It's just something like you watch and you're like, wow, I can't believe I just looked at that. It was gruesome. And it was Christmas themed. So it was kind of interesting in that way. Some of the scenes were kind of funny, but it doesn't overrule the fact that the plot was complete trash.
Yeah, it was.
And by the end of the movie, I was just like, can this just be over?
Yeah, it's definitely not great. I thought the second one was actually better than the third one, to be completely honest with you, except for one particular scene I hate in the second one. and I never want to see that scene ever again. It actually bothers me, and I've seen some pretty messed up shit. But yeah, it just wasn't as good as the second one. It's not terrible, but they focused too much on the gore instead of story. And
Yeah,
they tried
you still
to,
gotta have the story.
and they tried to do a story. It didn't really work, and it was very choppy, especially the last 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah, it was.
It cut to certain scenes, and you're like, what happened in between this? So, yeah, I agree.
Cody actually had to go, hey, you didn't see this part, but this is what's supposed to happen there. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm glad you mentioned that.
So, number 5 and number 4, I switched the last minute because we just kind of, I'll do this list together. So, number 5 is actually Winnie the Pooh 2. It's Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. It's a sequel. It's already a terrible movie, but it's one of those supposed to be terrible. It's so terrible that it's good kind of things.
Had I watched it with you, it would have been on my list too. Don't
Yeah,
worry.
probably. And they did some things in this one that I thought were kind of cool, but I didn't think it was as good as if it's just wiggling because the cat keeps bumping into it.
Yeah.
It was not as good as the first one. I thought the first one was a lot better. It's like they had a bigger budget and they tried to do certain things and it didn't quite work for me. And Tigger was kind of a letdown in this movie, and I was really looking forward to Tigger. So yeah, that's why it's at number 5 for me. So Winnie the Pooh 2.
I did watch the first one the year before, but I was like, no, I'm not even going to give the second one a try. They're not going to ruin my childhood like they did the first one.
I'll wait for Bambi.
Are they doing a Bambi?
Yes.
Oh my god. Anyways, number 5 for me was Night Swim. This was one that came out, God, in January. So it's been a whole year since we watched it, but it probably is an indicator that I can't really barely remember what happened. And I just remember that the twist, what was going on with the pool that was making it haunted, was completely ridiculous. And I'm like, can this movie be over? Like, I don't care about any of the characters. They were all so stupid. I felt like it was just your classic horror movie where you're just like, not classic, sorry, that makes it sound like it's good. I feel like it was like a lot of horror movies where the characters were just so unlikable and then the plot was bad that you were just like, I don't care, turn it off.
So I'm going to continue this conversation and go into number 4, because my number 4 is Night Swim. And the movie is absolutely terrible. It's one of the worst things I've ever seen in my entire life. Completely pointless. It's about a fucking pool and the water comes from the lake, and they could have done something there, but they didn't. This movie could have been made in about 10 minutes of a short film.
Yeah.
And it probably would have been better. But instead it's an hour and a half of pointlessness. The one guy in the movie is the only decent actor and the only one that should be in the movie. Everyone else is pointless.
I will say that he was decent, and I think he's like Kate Hudson's brother or something.
He's somebody's kid, I think. But
Goldie Hawn and them or something.
Yeah. But yeah, it's should have been wrapped up in about 10 minutes. It would have been a good short film. Kind of like that other movie, the one from last year where it showed the corners.
Skinamarink or whatever.
Yeah, it could have been a short film in about 5 or 10 minutes. Either way, it's better than that movie. But Night Swim was terrible. Don't watch it. I felt bad because someone actually bought this for us, sent it to us. We're not going to go into that.
Oh, yeah. We
But
still appreciate it.
We appreciate it, but the movie was terrible.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I guess you'll go to your
Yeah, I
4.
needed to do my number 4.
Yeah, Night Swim sucks. Don't watch it.
Number 4, this was on your list earlier, Roadhouse. So, like he said, it's garbage. It kind of puts the original, I mean, obviously, they're named the same thing, right?
Yeah, Roadhouse.
So make sure you keep the two separate in your mind, because the original is great. They did so much time in the beginning kind of just setting up the movie, putting Patrick Swayze out there. And then you have this. Poor Jake Gyllenhaal, too, because I was actually excited to see him kind of take this role on. And
he's the best part of the movie.
And he did okay. But everything around him, like you said earlier, I won't kind of rehash what you said, but with the fighter, he ruined it. And
Conor McGregor.
Conor McGregor.
Yeah, that's his name. Yeah.
He's in some hot water recently, but yeah, he ruined it. So I didn't enjoy it, and hopefully they don't make another one.
So coming in at number 3 is my brother's favorite movie of all time. He absolutely loved this movie.
That's all
And yeah, it not really. He actually complained for the entire ride home about how, and he watches trash and likes it. He absolutely hated this movie. It pissed him off so bad that he complained like 2 days after watching this movie. He said the water bottle scene was the best part of the movie. So this is a remake of another movie. This is Strangers. The Strangers Chapter 1. Is that what it's called, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The Strangers Chapter 1. So there's going to be another one. And I think there's actually supposed to be 3.
More chapters.
This movie was this movie made your head hurt because
More than Skinamarink.
in a different way. So the 2 main people in this movie are the dumbest. Not saying that in the situation I would do any better, but these people are dumb. They have chances to kill the killers, blow their heads off, all this other stuff, and they don't do it. They do the complete opposite of what they should do every time. It's one of those movies. And it didn't do anything new. It just took the idea and made it longer and apparently into 3 parts. And it pissed me off. Like, it's a really bad movie. There's nothing creepy about it. Everyone was just annoying. The acting was very poor in my opinion, but there were just so many chances to get away or kill the people, and they made it so obvious, and they didn't do it, and it just pissed you off. So, number 3 for me was Strangers Chapter 1. Very, very disappointed in that movie.
You see how passionate he is about number 3.
And it looks good.
Being bad.
The movie looks good. It was filmed very prettily, like, if you make sense. It looks good, but the movie's terrible.
They put a lot of money into the
Yeah.
cinematography.
Yeah, see, she used those fancy words. Go ahead.
Number 3 for me. Joker. Faux Ladou. I could not stand this movie. We went and saw it in theater, which makes it even worse because it's not even like you can pause it and go to the bathroom or get up and do anything. You're sitting in the theater and you're just stuck listening to the endless songs, the endless, just whatever you want to call it. I knew it was going to be a musical, and I'm not against musicals. I actually enjoy them sometimes. I know Cody not as much, but I didn't expect it to be like this. I know Lady Gaga has an amazing voice, so I was like, okay, they'll have her singing some songs, and maybe they'll have the Joker joining in. But no, that was the whole movie, was just them singing everything, almost. And there was no plot. And it felt like it was completely a waste of time. Like, why did they even make this movie? I think that's what everyone's saying, so.
So coming in at number 2 for me is Joker 2. Like I said, the year for sequels. So it's a courtroom drama musical that takes...
Those are combinations you never...
Yeah, it's a courtroom drama musical is what it is. It takes the first movie that was, in my opinion, an absolute masterpiece.
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely love the first one. I watched it several times. I think it's the one movie I've seen the most times in the theater because I went and saw it, and then I took someone else to go see it, and I took someone else to see it because I wanted everyone to experience the movie in theaters. I absolutely love it. Fantastic movie. Perfect movie. Almost. And then you come out with a sequel that should not have been done. But if you did, there were so many things you could have done. You could have done stuff with a Joker or Arkham Asylum or dealing with Batman or anything. Or the story of him meeting Harley Quinn, which they did. And I kind of dug it at first. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of started to dig it. Like the first 10, 15, 20 minutes maybe.
For a minute, you're like, okay.
I kind of see where this is going. He's going to get out and then they're going to do the thing. No, they just go into a courtroom and then they start singing. Which is fine. You can sing, but not the entire damn movie, and nothing happens.
And there was a scene where, like you said, that you think they're breaking out, and then they catch them again. And you're like...
Yeah, and...
Oh, okay.
Lady Gaga, I think she's a great actress.
Mm-hmm.
And I personally think for what they gave her, I think the acting was on par. Like, the acting was great in this movie. It really was. I thought Joaquin Phoenix did a great job. Lady Gaga did a great job. But the movie itself was absolutely terrible.
Yeah, it wasn't their fault.
And then the way it ended ruined the first movie, in my opinion. It ruined the first movie. I hated the way it ended. But yeah, this was a cash grab, and I feel like the guy did it on purpose because he said he didn't want to make a sequel. I feel like they pushed him to make a sequel, so he said, all right.
I'm just going to do whatever I want.
So he did it, and kind of a joke, in my opinion. It was kind of a joke.
It's
Joker.
sad. Mm-hmm.
So it was terrible, and it's almost the most disappointing movie of the year. And I will never buy this movie. And I will hopefully never watch it again. But I thought Lady Gaga would have, I think she would have done a good Harley Quinn if she was given a story.
I know, that's what I was excited about, and I guess that's why it's disappointing.
Yeah, you have the two best characters to play the parts, and they ruined it. So it's a very big disappointment.
She should be disappointed. Lady Gaga should be disappointed because they robbed her of that.
Yeah, which I mean, her singing was phenomenal in the movie, but
it was okay.
I mean, her singing was fine. Just the songs that they were giving her did not really.
Yeah,
it's kind of hard to explain.
So this seems kind of out of place looking at my list now. I made it a couple days ago, but Drive Away Dolls is my number 2. This was
Drive Away Dolls is better than Joker 2.
I know. This was way up his list, but I just want to let you know I hated this movie. I hated it. Like, it was just one of those movies we threw on streaming, so I guess at least I got to sit in the comfort of my own home and hate it rather than pay for it.
Yeah.
But the humor did not land with me at all. I couldn't stand the characters. I just felt like it was terrible. A terrible movie. And it was, I don't know. It was not my cup of tea. So when I was making my list, I'm like, that is going all the way up there. Number 2. Honestly, I think I probably could have switched Joker and that one.
No.
You know, that probably could have been number 3. But no, I really did not like Drive Away Dolls. Do not see that movie. It's a waste of your time.
I can't believe we've been talking for 27 minutes.
I know. Sorry, guys.
No one's watching this anymore, so it doesn't really matter. Still watching this piece. So number 1. You probably already know what it is.
Oh, I'm just going to go ahead and say I think our number 1's the same.
Yeah, so I will say this beforehand. I do want to rewatch this movie for a second experience to see if I still feel the same way.
You will.
But this was the movie, besides the Joker, that I left the theater pissed off. And this movie, I almost walked out. And yes, I am a hardcore fan of the original.
He was angry.
Yeah, I am a hardcore fan of the original. And I was actually looking forward to, I'm fine with remakes or reboots or reimaginings. I'm fine with that. But with The Crow, my number 1, I don't understand it. I will say this: Bill Skarsgård, for one, is a fantastic actor, and the way he looks in the last 10 minutes of the movie when he finally becomes the Crow, the Eric Draven, even though they don't say the names and all that stuff, I thought he looked really cool, and I feel like they could have done something with that, but they didn't do it. You spend an hour and a half on this love story that wasn't even necessary. You didn't like either one of the characters. Didn't care for the girl at all. I didn't like the storyline. I didn't like the villain. The biggest part was spending that much time on the characters, and it wasn't needed. The original didn't even show you the character storyline hardly at all. There was like maybe 4 minutes in the entire movie, spread it throughout.
Mm-hmm.
And you care more about their love story than you do this hour worth of trash for these two characters that break out and they're in love, and then he's on revenge. And then the way the Crow's supposed to be, he's supposed to go and kill the people that wronged him for revenge, but at the end he's just killing everyone. Like, everyone that's in his way, he's just killing them. Like, they had nothing to do with that whatsoever. They could be, they're guards and shit. That's not the way it's supposed to go. Terrible fucking movie. Highly disappointed. This was my number 1 most anticipated movie of the year, and ended up being the most disappointing movie of the year. Besides the Joker, because the Joker was pretty damn bad. Both movies pissed me off, and that's my opinion. Now, if you love this movie, that's great. I'm happy for you, and I wished I would have. And like I said, the last 10 minutes or so, I thought it was going to get better. And I love the way he looked. I thought he looked badass, personally. I mean, it kind of took a different spin on it, and it was different, but I was digging it. Up until, like, even the trailer. The trailer was awesome. I was hyped, and then the movie came out, and I watched the movie. The trailer is 20 times better. The movie is complete trash, and I hated it. But I will watch it again one day to re-experience that and see if I'm just as pissed off. But I was pretty pissed off when I watched it.
Yeah, he was. We went and saw it in theater, and he was just out loud being like, "That's stupid. This is trash." Ooh. And
I wasn't the only one. Everyone that left that theater, literally, I heard them all talking, and they all were saying that was trash, that was garbage. And there weren't very many people in there, but no one in that theater, from what I could tell when they walked out, from what they were saying, no one enjoyed it. So it wasn't just me.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I didn't have the experience by saying it sucked, but whatever.
Yeah.
But that's my opinion. If you loved it, that's great. What were your 10 most disappointing movies of the year? I wasn't going to you because that was your one,
that was
right?
my number one as well, and he said it all.
Okay.
Honestly, I was just really, it's his favorite movie of all time. So I really was looking forward to it, and I wanted it to be good for him. And watching it, I will say I wasn't like, oh, this is trash. I was like, okay, it's all right. But then towards the end, I was like, yep, this isn't hitting. So I was very disappointed. It was the hugest disappointment of 2024 for sure.
And that's surprising because the Joker was pretty damn bad.
He was.
So yeah, what was your top or your 10 worst disappointing bad movies of the year?
Mm-hmm.
What did you think of our list? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let's talk about it in the comments down below. And peace out.